Hello, folks, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto Byte. Today is Tuesday, March 8th. Bitcoin trying to put in a higher low here today. Traditional equities not exactly helping, though. Big sell-off yesterday in the Qs that dragged Bitcoin down a little bit with it. And, we'll talk about Bitcoin price action, also take a look at some equity price action and just the markets in general. But before we get started, CJ, how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing well, Monty. Thanks. Just to cover kind of the basics, rates are still up again today, quite a bit actually. TNX going up over 6%. DXY taking off just a little bit, down over $100 now, or 99 roughly. Oil still through the roof, really pressing on that target of 130. Just extraordinary how literally that's gone straight up amidst all of the supply chain issues. But a lot to dive into here this morning, but excited to check it out. How are you doing, Monty?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, CJ. Doing all right. Like I said, Bitcoin trying to put in this higher low here today. We also have President Biden speaking at 10:45, could be a potential catalyst for price action. But right now it seems like all eyes are still on Russia and Ukraine. Traditional equity markets kind of still very, very risk off. Qs just a couple points off the interim low here. So plenty to talk about today. Excited to dive into some charts. But yeah, you want to start us off?
Yeah, for sure. As you had mentioned, Monty, trend is trying to put in a higher low here, and it's barely holding that ascending level that's trying to keep the triangle together and so forth. If we put in a lower low and lose the 37 level, I would look for potentially some continuation down to the bottom of the range, roughly 33 to 32K. We'll see ultimately if that holds up. I have to say that the fact that we have been able to put in higher lows, at least for the moment, amidst very soaring oil prices, soaring commodity prices. You look at other high beta assets in an indice or a composite index like ARK. That's made the full ARK at this point. So it's quite interesting. But it's notable to see Bitcoin actually hold up in the midst of such sell-offs and risk-off behavior, especially in the Qs as well, as you had mentioned, Monty. Now we are literally testing the bottom of that range as we speak. So something noteworthy there. One thing I want to mention about the DXY, though, is that we have really gone parabolic in the last couple of days. We are just starting to turn down for some overbought territory. I don't think this trend is ending anytime soon, but we could be due for a little bit of a pullback here to perhaps the 97 or 98 level, especially after reaching, a 9 just a few days ago. We talk so often about how when you have, a candle wick like this for pretty much line up at the top of the 9, typically you get 1 or 2 more days of continuation before a little bit of a retrace. So I would be looking for support on that one to hold around 97.8, potentially, an interesting Forex trade. But yeah, anything you'd like to add in terms of Bitcoin? I know that's what you wanted to cover today, Monty.
Yeah, I'll just pull up the Bitcoin chart real quick. You did cover a lot of it there, but like you said, this higher low here, this is the most important thing to watch. And I think we could potentially see a retest of this 37K level today. And that's just based on what we're seeing with the Qs. Like you pointed out, CJ, Qs down big today, especially they're down big yesterday as well. We are just a few points off of this low here at about 319. And I think if we break below this level in the Qs, that could spell, perhaps a break of this positive trend for Bitcoin. We talk about it a lot, but the Qs, they kind of act as like a risk gauge for speculative investors. And, Bitcoin still does trade like a tech stock, especially amongst, newer investors. They trade it with the same risk tolerance that they'll trade the Qs. So whenever we see the Qs sort of breaking down like they are now, approaching a highly critical level to the downside, it just should encourage you to be a little bit cautious with your Bitcoin position here. So we did kind of rally a little bit today, show some signs of positive price action, but again, that was back when the Qs were a little bit more flat. Now we're kind of being sold into a bit hard here today. So just keep an eye on Bitcoin. Keep an eye on this, upward sloping trend line. I think if we do break this, in the interim here, we could be in for a bit of trouble. But I think, just like I keep saying, I think a lot of it will be contingent on what we see from the Qs. Do we bounce from this 319 level, or do we see a clean break and, a continuation of bearish price action? We could see that as soon as today. Like I mentioned, President Biden speaking at 10:45 Central, that could potentially be a catalyst for price action here. So just keep an eye on the Qs because they have been historically very, very important to the price action of Bitcoin. Last thing I'll say is Ethereum, in a similar position here, right? We did manage to kind of maintain this higher low slightly, but one thing that does differ is the fact that we're kind of trending down as well. We have this sort of wedge formation emerging here, where each subsequent time we come down to retest this bottom of the triangle, we get a little bit less buy pressure each time. So just keep an eye on this here. Again, ETH is also kind of contingent on what we see in the Qs as well, traded like an emerging tech asset. So don't be too surprised if we see the market go risk off today, based on what we're seeing with the Qs, if ETH kind of pulls back below this range here today. So just something to keep an eye on. We are kind of approaching these lower critical levels, but I just really think that the thing to watch today will be the Qs and whether or not we do manage to maintain this kind of critical 318.5 level that we retested just so recently on February 24th. So just keep that on your radar today. I think it will be, determining a lot of what we see for the rest of today into tonight. So just something to keep on your radar. But that's all I got, CJ. Anything else you want to add?
Just want to let everybody in the audience know that we are going to be taking a look at a variety of altcoins, as well as potential short setups or long setups in our members only Doge of the Day episode after this. There's some assets been requested, so we're looking forward to getting over there and highlighting those for our members. If you'd like to try the membership for just $7 for the first week, you can check out the link in the description below and get everything that you need to know. Also, please like and subscribe, as that does help the channel a lot if you did enjoy the content you saw here today. But overall, thank you guys so much for